Hi, I'm here with Joe, former Army, spent 16 years in the military serving our country, and now works in executive security for an energy company. And Joe and I have been working together for a few months now doing HRV biofeedback. And Joe, you've had some really amazing turnarounds and transformations in the time that you and I have been working together. And I just want to say thank you, first of all, for your service, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. And so I would love for you to share, before you and I met, what were some of the things that you were experiencing and what was your motivation for getting into this kind of work?
Typical of a lot of people that serve within the military, within the Army. I spent quite a few trips overseas, got some baggage, trying to find ways to feel better about myself, to not be so stressed. The biggest challenge was work, very demanding job, some changes at work, and I felt the weight of quite a few things on me with work, the stresses with work. Um, Started having some, well, I'll say minor health issues. My hypertension, blood pressure was going up. Um, I wasn't as thoughtful of a husband or father as I probably should be, as far as you know, quick to judgment, reacting a lot instead of being calm and cool. And I needed to find something, and I was open to this program and see approached it with an open mind.
Well, in talking about the things that you were facing before we started working together, what had you tried to fix those things? What were the different modalities that you used?
Typically, one of the things say, you got to exercise, walk, run, go work out in the gym, come up with some other plans. Meditation, was meditating, tried that for a period of time. A whole myriad of things that a lot of different groups, veteran centered groups, try to encourage our fellow veterans, and myself included. And some of the things, they're okay, but they're difficult to practice. I don't have a gym in my back pocket, so if there's a stressful situation developing, I can't just stop what I'm doing and start doing push-ups. I need to. There needs to be another way to get myself centered and relaxed, so to speak.
I remember you and I were just talking a little bit ago, and when we first started, the first few weeks that we started, you said, I'm kind of skeptical about this. I'm not sure if it's going to work. And you ended up having some pretty amazing results. So, can you
Yeah.
share, maybe with the people that are listening today, what were some of the results that you actually had as we started working together after 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks together?
It was challenging at first. I felt as if I wasn't getting it. It didn't seem right. It didn't feel right. Um, you were explaining the different ways to accomplish this, ways to try this practice, and I didn't always feel like I had the right place or the right time to get it done. And then out of the blue one day, I just, without having the inner balance device, I just started practicing the breathing. Uh, there's something happening with work, a little stress, and without even thinking about it, I started practicing my breathing. I had a positive thought, and just everything just worked really well together. It's almost, the light bulb went off, the light went on in the room. I don't know how to say it. It brought me down to a very good place rather quickly, and I wow, how did I do that? And I did, somehow I did it.
Well, we say that a lot of people when they start this program, we talk about that their level of resilience may be this much, and the more that you practice, it's a series of steps that people do, and the more that you practice, your resilience starts to go from here to here. And what what I noticed in your practice is that you started to change the autonomic nervous system, because we talk about when you're in a low level of resilience, the autonomic nervous system can be in a state of incoherence. And what we started to see in some of your sessions is that you started to move into beautiful coherent frequencies. So as you started to move into coherence inside your nervous system, can you explain a little bit more of how that translated into what is a very stressful job that you have right now, and seem to be more stressful than it is now that you have the tools and techniques? So how does this relate when you talk about it just started to work? It was working from the inside out. How did that translate specifically to you in your job?
One of the things that it was really helpful with my job, I'm responsible for the safety and security of some significant people in energy and politics, policy, and when when the situation's pretty stressful, high risk, military, we say sometimes you get tunnel vision, sometimes you lose focus of everything else going on around you. Often I'm a solo practitioner. I'm by myself. I don't have a team. But by practicing this coherence, I was actually able. I didn't just calm myself. My body, my mind was calm, but all the positive feelings, the positive energy, I became more aware of everything going on around me. It was very, very amazing in many respects because I seem to have a larger field of view around me, and even areas that I couldn't see directly into or look right into, I felt comfortable with them. They weren't, instead of the unknown being a challenge, being a threat in my mind, I was more relaxed about it, and I was able to, if something did happen, and every now and then things do occur, I'm able to handle that a lot easier. So it's almost like a flow. It's very smooth.
So incredible. And I remember one time you were talking about you were working security and there was a crowd that seemed to be a little bit angry. And do you remember what you ended up doing when you got into that state of coherence with that crowd? Would you be willing to share that?
Yeah, we'll talk about that briefly. Um, that was actually a large operation. I was in a major city here in the Northeast, and we were working with a large law enforcement agency at the location, and I were walking towards the group because we have to go across the street, and I'm walking through, and I was pretty positive. I felt good about myself, and next thing I know, I realize my coworker's kind of trying to get my attention. He's going off on an angle with two of the uniformed tactical officers, but I'm moving straight through the crowd. And the crowd, I almost felt like somebody parting the Red Sea. Um, I f- I had such a positive feeling about everything that I opened a gap. I made a way through this very large crowd. They and it was funny because one of the sergeants from the tactical unit started laughing. He says, you just shut down this pretty volatile crowd." And like, wow, I guess I did.
It sounds like, but when I hear it, it's like, wow, you shut down this crowd. And really what we're talking about is you changed from the inside out, in the sense that you weren't walking into it in a state of fear energetically. You're walking into it feeling pretty good, being in control of your emotions, and knowing that you were confident, knowing that you felt secure. And we talk about that if we feel it here, we actually can radiate that out to other people. And the way that we are being here has an effect on those that are around us. And I remember when you first told me the story, I thought, wow, you have really embodied this state of coherence and these higher states of energy, love, peace, joy, compassion. And that is transferable. And this is such a beautiful story to share, that it is transferable, especially in a crowd of people who are seemingly angry. And you walk through in this state of calm, confident, coherent, and look at the effect that it had on the crowd. So it's just such a beautiful demonstration of you embodying this work. And the other thing that I heard you say is before you started this, you had a high blood pressure. You were experiencing some physical symptoms.
Yeah.
And now, how is your blood pressure now as you embody this particular state of coherence?
My blood pressure has been lowered dramatically, just in a couple months. I've reduced medication. Even with now my blood pressure is reduced, the medication's reduced. Um, I feel a lot better. I don't even feel. I don't. I In the past, a few months ago, I could feel my blood pressure was elevated. Whether it was a work incident, something going on, and personally, just in the world in general, um, everything's relaxed. And it's, again, it's amazing because you mentioned it. I was skeptical in the beginning, and I don't I don't I didn't understand everything about this, how this could work. Um, you've given me quite a bit of information about the positive energy, negative energy, positive energy, and I'm fascinated by it. And my blood pressure, I'm hoping to be off medication in the early part of next year at the rate I'm going.
Definitely at the rate you're going. And we do talk about that positive energy, and we talked about how it relates to others, how it relates to us internally, and how bringing your body into that homeostasis and balance, it's that you're no longer living in the stress,
Right.
fight or flight. You moved into that balance inside your body. And so how else does that translate when you have a very high pressure job, high stress job, but I've also heard you say that you used to be a lot more angry at work. What's happened since you've embodied this state? Has your anger subsided? Are you able to control it more?
Absolutely. One of the things, the Army spends a lot of time teaching us, training us. I've always served in combat arms, combat line units. I was always in direct contact with our enemies. Um, when you leave the military, when you leave the Army, they don't spend much, if any, time teaching you how to become a civilian again, how to move about and work about in the civilian world. Um, So in the army, you react when something happens. You react. It's fast. It's hard. It's get it done now, and that translates to the majority of the people in the rest of the world. They don't get that. They don't accept that. It's not acceptable. It's not comforting. So that can be anger. That can be looked at and looked down upon. Um, Now I'm, again, I can't say calm enough. I'm relaxed. Things are happening. The job is still a high stress, high risk job, but when things are happening and things happen, and it's not always a physical threat, it's not always a material threat. Sometimes it's just a stress with work, things that your manager or the team or something's happening in a world. There's a protest on your route. You need to think about this or do that. Just let's run with it. Let's invoke some positive images. Let's start breathing. Let's get this, you know, level of coherence where we're in control. That's the thing too that I think is important for anyone that does my type of work or even similar work. When you're calm, you're in control. You're able to see more, you're able to feel more, you're able to respond better to anything that's going on around you.
And especially in what you're doing in security and the detail that you require in your job, just having this skill set to be that much more effective and efficient at work and have that transfer to other people, which we've already heard in you walking through that crowd, it's pretty amazing. So you've had a lot of changes at work. What about how does this translate to your home life, your personal life, being a father, being a husband?
With being a father of three boys, teenagers to 20, and that can be stressful in itself. I never thought it could be, but they don't teach you how to be a father. It happens, and you kind of go with the punches. Again, reacting, always reacting. This and that, and this happened. Oh, somebody got into a car accident, or somebody crashed this, somebody broke that, and right away you can fly off the handle. my wife, she's been my wonderful, amazing wife for 2 decades plus, and she saw me go overseas a couple times and what it's done to me over these years. And the inner balance has had a dramatic positive impact on how I've been behaving, acting, um, around my family, with other people. Um, I'm enjoying things more. I'm enjoying things again, which I'm more relaxed. Not everything's a threat. Not everything's negative. And when things aren't going your way, when there's traffic, when there's other people on the road that are acting a little silly, I don't let it bother me.
Wow. It's so amazing because you're talking about how things aren't bothering you, how you're much more calm and more relaxed. And
Mhm.
it's been 16 years in the military. You're trained for threats. You're trained to be on
Right.
alert. You're trained for that. And so 16 years of that, then coming into what you're doing right now, high stress job. You and I have been working together for probably 2 months now. So in those 2 months, having this dramatic change from being angry to being calm, being on edge at times to being in the flow state, being able to walk through an angry crowd feeling calm and confident, lowering your blood pressure. It's pretty dramatic for 2 months of just practicing this. How are you going to use this moving forward?
I'm going to continue to use it. I've realized, after practicing this so much over the last couple of months on my own, I'm going into this practice several times during the day, whether it's driving, driving as part of my job, whether it's commuting to and from work, um, you know, simple things, going out grocery shopping, the simplest things. Life, they always say life is short. Let's enjoy now. Let's be present. Let's enjoy every bit of it today. So, going out to the grocery store, going out to get something to eat with the wife or the kids doesn't have to be a task, doesn't have to be a challenge. It can be more relaxing. And that's the thing too. My wife, my kids, they see the difference in me. They see the changes. I feel different. I mean, my head is clear. I'm not stressed. I'm not worried. I'm not thinking about when's the next shoe going to drop, or anything like that. It's again, I couldn't believe how easy this was. Somehow, I don't know what the magic is that you have here, Julie, but this has worked for me. This really has. In the beginning, I was skeptical. We've said that a couple times, but this has been really good. I like this. This has been good. It hasn't, there's no gym membership. There's no, I've got to run 10 miles every day to feel better. This is something I can do just about anywhere. I could do this stopped at a traffic light. I could start this.
And
This is
nobody knows you're doing it. You could be in an
right.
argument with somebody and doing it. So you stay
Yep.
calm and peaceful. You can do it when you're walking
Yeah.
through a crowd. You can do it at work, anywhere. So I just love you sharing your transformation. You've had such a beautiful transformation. It's been so wonderful to work with you and to watch you move into those states of peace and calm. And mostly, I want to just say thank you for your service to our country and thank you for what you're doing right now in your job. And thank you for sharing this. I think that this is an inspiration for a lot of other people that may be facing some of the same things you were facing when you started. So
Yeah.
again, thank you very much for being here and sharing your story.
Thank you, Julie.